Everyone in the room understood instantly. Jonathan McReynolds, the man who inspired millions, had been suffering in silence. And that wasn't the end. Because just when they thought the moment had reached its emotional peak, Jonathan shared something even more shocking. With tears still streaming down his face, Jonathan took a deep breath and shared a personal truth he had been avoiding for years. He admitted that even during the biggest moments of his career, award shows, concerts, viral performances, he often felt disconnected from himself. He felt like he was performing a version of Jonathan that the world expected, instead of being the man he truly was. Then came the part that left everyone stunned. Jonathan revealed that many of his most powerful songs were written during moments of deep struggle, nights when he questioned not just his purpose, but his faith. He admitted that even the most spiritual, uplifting songs came from seasons of brokenness. Fans had always praised him for his inspiring lyrics. But few knew that those lyrics were born out of pain, confusion, and desperation. This confession didn't just shock people. It made them rethink everything they thought they knew about him. The moment didn't stay private for long. People close to him began sharing how deeply moved they were by his vulnerability. News spread through group chats, social circles, and social media. Fans were stunned. Some cried. Many said they had no idea someone so spiritually grounded could feel so insecure. But instead of judgment, something beautiful happened. The world embraced him. Fans flooded social media with love, prayers, and gratitude. People shared their own struggles, saying Jonathan's courage helped them feel less alone. Fellow artists reached out privately, admitting they too had faced emotional battles behind the spotlight. Some even said Jonathan's breakdown opened the door for conversations about mental health that the gospel community had avoided for too long. His honesty didn't weaken him, it made him stronger in the eyes of millions. But not everyone reacted with sympathy. A few critics wondered whether vulnerability might affect his image as a leader in gospel music. They questioned whether it was wise for someone so influential to show such raw emotion. But Jonathan wasn't thinking about image. For the first time in a long time, he was thinking about healing. After that emotional moment, Jonathan took time to reflect. To breathe. To allow himself to be human. He realized that the tears he had been hiding for years were not a sign of weakness, they were a sign of humanity. He began embracing vulnerability instead of running from it. He opened up more to his close friends. He reconnected with his faith, not as a performer or public figure, but as a person. His songwriting became even more honest. His interviews felt deeper. People began noticing a shift, not in his talent, but in his spirit. He wasn't just singing anymore. He was sharing truth. His truth. This new chapter wasn't about perfection. It was about authenticity. Jonathan's emotional moment did something rare, it changed the conversation for millions. His story reminded people everywhere that even strong people break. Even successful people struggle. Even spiritual people have doubts. And it reminded fans that vulnerability is not weakness, it's courage. Jonathan's journey shows that the strongest people are sometimes the ones fighting battles you never see. He proved that opening up doesn't destroy your influence, it deepens it. As Jonathan steps into this new chapter, his mission is clearer than ever. To inspire not just through music, but through truth. His breakdown wasn't the end. It was the beginning. A beginning where honesty matters more than image. Where faith doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. Where being human is finally allowed. Jonathan McReynolds showed the world something powerful. You can be successful, loved, and admired, and still struggle. And there is no shame in that. If anything, it makes you even more relatable, more impactful, and more real. His story challenges all of us. What are you carrying in silence? When was the last time you gave yourself permission to break? How much healing could begin if you allowed yourself to be honest? Jonathan's tears didn't weaken him. They transformed him. And that transformation is now inspiring millions. The response to her revelations was immediate and widespread. Social media erupted as fans, followers, and critics processed the news. Supporters praised her courage, applauding the bravery it took to speak out after decades of privacy. Many highlighted her resilience, framing her story as an example of steadfastness and integrity under pressure. Hashtags celebrating empowerment, faith, and transparency began trending, reflecting a collective recognition of her voice and contributions. At the same time, skeptics questioned motives, timing, and potential implications for Bishop Noel Jones's public image. But even amidst debate, most agreed that her disclosure provided clarity and insight that had long been missing, allowing the public to see the human side of ministry and leadership. Faith leaders and members of the gospel community responded thoughtfully, emphasizing the often overlooked emotional labor required of spouses supporting public figures. Interviews and statements highlighted that her experiences were not unique but emblematic of a broader pattern. Those standing behind high-profile leaders carry immense responsibility, often quietly, without recognition. Her disclosure sparked private conversations within churches and ministry networks, encouraging others to reflect on the balance between public expectation and private life. In many ways, her voice became a catalyst for dialogue about transparency, partnership, and the unseen contributions that sustain spiritual leadership. Beyond the faith community, her revelations carry cultural significance. They challenge long-standing assumptions about women in positions of influence, particularly those married to prominent figures. Her decision to speak at 74 demonstrates that agency, clarity, and courage are not limited by age or circumstance. She models empowerment, showing that it is never too late to assert your voice, claim recognition, and establish boundaries. Her story resonates with women navigating personal and professional challenges, providing a blueprint for reclaiming control over narratives long dominated by speculation or silence. Her disclosures also reframe the public perception of Bishop Noel Jones himself. For years, stories about him were shaped by partial information, assumptions, and rumor. Now, the context provided by his wife allows the public to understand the fuller picture, a leader whose ministry is shaped not only by spiritual insight but also by decades of personal and relational commitment. By highlighting the partnership behind the pulpit, she emphasizes that leadership success is rarely the result of one person alone. Ministry, like marriage, requires collaboration, sacrifice, and mutual support, and her voice ensures that this truth is recognized. In her reflections, she emphasized the spiritual grounding that allowed her to navigate these challenges. Her faith provided the strength to confront decades of speculation, public scrutiny, and personal sacrifice. Guided by principle, she acted deliberately, choosing to speak out with dignity and integrity rather than contributing to gossip or sensationalism. It is this combination of courage, wisdom, and faith that makes her revelations so impactful, transforming not only public understanding but also the dynamics of leadership, family, and ministry. Her story also sheds light on the psychological and emotional resilience required in such a life. Living under constant scrutiny, balancing personal needs against the demands of ministry, and facing public commentary for decades could overwhelm anyone. Yet she remained steadfast, maintaining discretion, composure, and grace. Her decision to finally speak reflects a mastery of both inner strength and strategic insight. She understood when and how to assert her voice, ensuring that her perspective would be heard without fueling controversy. In doing so, she redefined what it means to protect family integrity while asserting individual agency. Importantly, her revelations honor the personal and professional contributions of spouses in ministry. The faith community often overlooks the work of those standing beside leaders, assuming success rests solely on the visible figure. Her candidness challenges this perception, reminding audiences that leadership, ministry, and impact are co-created efforts. By sharing her story, she amplifies the voices of countless others whose sacrifices go unnoticed, inspiring recognition and appreciation for a role too often taken for granted. The human element of her disclosures resonates strongly. Audiences are drawn not to scandal but to the raw, emotional reality of living a life dedicated to faith, family, and public service. Her courage to speak illuminates the personal cost of ministry, the challenges of marriage under scrutiny, and the resilience required to navigate a lifetime of expectations. She reminds us that even revered public figures live complex, human lives, shaped by struggle, sacrifice, and steadfast commitment. As news of her revelations spread, discussions across social media, news outlets, and church networks highlighted a broader lesson: truth matters, and silence is not always protection. By confronting decades of rumors head-on, she models transparency, courage, and accountability, showing that reclaiming a narrative requires bravery and integrity. Her voice serves as a guidepost for others who may feel pressured to remain silent, demonstrating that authenticity and resilience are powerful forces in shaping both personal and public perception. Ultimately, her disclosure at 74 is transformative on multiple levels. It strengthens her family bonds, clarifies her role within the household, and sets the stage for future influence in faith-based leadership and mentorship. Her words have shifted the public narrative, elevated the recognition of ministry spouses, and sparked meaningful conversations about transparency, resilience, and human complexity in positions of influence. She is no longer only the spouse of a celebrated leader, she is a respected voice in her own right, whose courage and insight will resonate for years to come. Her story is not just about addressing rumors or clarifying misconceptions. It is about the power of truth, the strength of conviction, and the resilience required to navigate a lifetime of expectations. It is a testament to the human spirit, the sacrifices behind leadership, and the capacity to reclaim agency at any stage of life. For those watching, her revelation offers a lesson in patience, courage, and the enduring impact of speaking one's truth. It is a reminder that every public figure has a private story, and every narrative benefits from clarity, integrity, and perspective. As Bishop Noel Jones's wife steps forward at 74, the ripple effects of her disclosure are already visible. The faith community, the public, and her own family are engaging in reflection, conversation, and renewed understanding. Her story underscores the complexity of ministry life, the unseen labor of those who support leaders, and the transformative power of reclaiming one's voice. She has demonstrated that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. And in doing so, she has left an indelible mark on her family, her community, and the broader conversation around leadership, partnership, and human resilience. In the end, her words remind us all that the truths we carry, the sacrifices we make, and the courage we summon to speak are never wasted. They shape perception, influence legacy, and inspire those around us. Bishop Noel Jones's wife has shown that speaking out at 74 is not just a personal act. It is a statement of integrity, empowerment, and timeless courage. And the faith community will not soon forget it.